Simulating various browsers with Silk Performer. Silk Performer is capable of simulating various browser types and versions to suit your testing needs. For a normal web business transaction project, you can simulate virtually any browser available today. For a browser-driven load testing project, only Internet Explorer can be used. Supported versions are IE 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Why test with different browsers? The application under test may only be certified to function with a specific browser. The web server may be configured to deliver a different content to different browsers. Corporate policy may dictate that a certain browser must be used within the environment. Example scenario: Outlook Web Access. Microsoft Exchange Server 2003 Outlook Web Access is one product where the content displayed to the user differs dramatically from one browser to the next. OWA was certified to work on Internet Explorer 6 and higher. When accessing it from within Firefox or Chrome, a different and arguably less functional version gets rendered. This is not unusual as developers often write applications to function on specific browsers. In this scenario, the server will deliver a different payload depending on what client browser it is being tested with. Built-in browser types. Setting the browser type in Silk Performer via the web section in the active profile settings is the equivalent to setting the browser in the script using the website browser function. Each browser type has its own pre-configured settings for concurrent connections, max connections, user agent string, and accept types. Specifying a custom browser. If the browser you need to simulate is not in the list, you can choose Custom from the drop-down and enter the settings your browser uses. You can also specify the user agent string in the appropriate section to let your server know what client it is dealing with. User agent string. In HTTP client-server communications, the server can identify the client state using the user agent header. An example is below. Remember, protocol-level scripts only simulate browsers. There is no real browser instance during the load test. Browser-driven load testing projects run an actual browser instance, and so only IE 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 can be simulated. Setting the browser in Silk Performer determines the settings that Silk Performer will simulate when connecting to the server to make requests. Setting the user agent will populate the user agent header to identify the client state to the server. Now for a demo. You will notice that the script contains a website browser function with the browser used during recording specified as the constant value. A full list of constants is available in the help files for this function. You can also select the browser to simulate in the active profile settings. I have set up 4 profiles, each with a different browser, and if I start a test, you will see that I can run the same script for each profile and generate comparable results based on the various browsers. I will set IE10 profile as active and modify its settings to simulate IE10 by selecting it from the drop-down list. A user agent string is entered already, but I can set a different one based on my needs. If I run a try script, I can now see that the user agent string being reflected in the out header information being sent to the server. As far as the server is concerned, it has received requests from a real user using a real IE10 browser on a Windows 7 machine which is 64-bit capable, and of course IE uses the Trident rendering engine. It is also possible to set the user agent string in the script using the website user agent function. On this occasion, I will set it to simulate Netscape. I run another try script and then move to the out header tab and can see that Netscape is now being simulated. If I move to a browser-driven script, you will notice that only versions of IE can be simulated. BDLT mode differs because a real browser instance is used during testing rather than a simulated browser. However, the version of IE can be simulated, so you can choose between all versions of IE your Silk Performer version is capable of supporting.